All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're looking at a viral English lesson that's been helping a ton of people. But here's the thing, we're not just going to watch it. We're going to pop the hood, take it apart piece by piece, and really understand the brilliant blueprint behind why it works so well. I mean, really, think about it. You can probably remember the entire plot of a movie you saw years ago, right? But what about that list of vocabulary words you tried to cram for a test last week? Yeah, exactly. There's a very good reason for that. And it's all about how our brains are wired. And this right here is the secret sauce. That viral English lesson, it's not just teaching words. It's tapping into this narrative cheat code to create a powerful learning framework. So let's break down the blueprint that makes new information feel so natural, so unforgettable. So where does it all begin? Well, the lesson grounds us in something super simple and relatable. The story of a woman named Marina and her average, everyday routine. This isn't some crazy adventure. It's just life. And that's exactly why it works. Look how straightforward this is. Morning, workday, evening, night. Simple, right? But by following this routine, we're not just passively listening. We're actually building a mental map of Marina's day. And now, every new word or phrase has a specific place to live on that map. And listen to the language here. It doesn't just say, Marina woke up. No, it paints a picture. Gentle sound, rays of sun filtering through. These little sensory details pull us right into the room with her. It stops being a list of events and becomes an actual experience. Okay, so the story has set the stage. It's created that mental framework. Now, this is where the lesson gets really clever. It starts to deconstruct the story, pulling out key phrases and words one by one. This is such a critical move. The story gives us the what Marina is doing, but the real learning kicks in when the lesson shows us how to talk about it. It seamlessly shifts from this broad, immersive context to these focused, bite-sized language lessons. And here's the magic trick. The lesson shows us that exact line we heard a minute ago, but now it puts a spotlight on one specific phrase, filtering through. And the best part, we already have a picture for this in our heads. We've already imagined the sun coming through Marina's curtains. And then, bam! Right after we see it in context, we get a super clear, simple definition and another example. Suddenly, the abstract meaning is locked into that concrete image of Marina's morning. This little loop, from context to definition, is the engine that drives this whole thing. Let's do one more. We just followed Marina home from the store, right? We can picture her in the kitchen, maybe putting on some music, ready to cook. So when we hear she prepares a healthy and nutritious meal, we've got the whole scene playing out in our minds. And just like before, the lesson immediately follows up with the definition. So now, the phrase nutritious meal isn't just two random words. It's connected to the feeling of a long day ending, the food she just bought, all of it. That is how you make vocabulary stick. Okay, so we've got the story and we've got the definitions, but the blueprint is missing one final crucial piece. This last phase is all about taking what you've learned and making it your own, moving from just understanding to actually using the language. And this really hits on a key truth about learning anything, doesn't it? It's one thing to see a word and go, oh yeah, I know what that means. It's a whole other ballgame to be able to pull that word out of your head in a conversation. This method tackles that problem head-on. So here it is, the complete learning loop in all its glory. Step 1, you hear the context through the story. Step 2, you learn the meaning when it's broken down for you. And step 3, the final step, you solidify it by actually saying the sentences out loud. Each step just flows perfectly into the next. It's a seamless path from seeing it to knowing it. So, why is this simple three-part structure so incredibly powerful? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the core principles, the psychology that makes this blueprint a total masterclass in learning. When you boil it all down, it comes down to these 4 things. First, you've got contextual anchoring. The story gives your brain a place to hang all the new info. Then, by breaking it down, it avoids that feeling of being overwhelmed. Third, the repetition forces active recall, which is what burns information into your long-term memory. And finally, because the story is so relatable, the language doesn't feel academic, it feels useful for your life right now. And that's really the biggest takeaway here. You know, the subject happens to be English, but this method, this is universal. You could use this blueprint, a relatable story, breaking it down and then practicing, to teach almost anything: history, science, you name it. So that's the question I want to leave you with. Just imagine for a second, what if you could learn complex economics by following the story of a small business owner, or understand biology by following the journey of a single cell? This method reminds us that maybe the most powerful learning tool we have isn't a textbook. It's just a really good story.